The Last of Us port to PC is apparently so bad that Naughty Dog will be stepping in to not just work on fixing it, but they put out a post essentially saying we are taking over our games coming to PC going forward. I'm going to look at what they had to say with you. We're going to read through it. There was also a patch. We'll look at that. It's very brief. There's not a lot there, but I did want to talk about this maybe before we kind of look at everything and just say that this is incredibly disappointing to take one of the most well-known PlayStation pieces of property and bring it to PC in such an abysmal way. At this point, we don't know whose decision was to have Iron Galaxy work on the port. One of the more notable port bumbles that they did was Batman Arkham Knight back in the day. Now, you can look at the variety of games that they have ported to Steam and go look at their scores, and they're not bad scores. Like, I don't think they always do a poor job porting games to PC, but it is strange to have the sort of high PR effect and everybody excited about just how good the TV show did. I do think that played a role here. I think they were trying to rush this game out. They wanted to get it on PC in the wake of how popular the show was, while it is still sort of on the top of mind marketing effect of everybody thinking, oh, let's go play this game. It's really exciting. You know, we just got done watching the show. But this is not the way to experience this game for the first time. Now, I know everybody's going to run to my comments and say, all you have to do is wait for the shaders to compile. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody knows to be patient. That is simply not true. They have made it very, very clear that there are significant problems. There's all sorts of screenshots you can see. Plenty of people have waited beyond the actual shaders compiling. I was on a podcast with Oh No, It's Alex, and he said that even afterward, all the shaders and everything got compiled. It was a massive bottleneck on his system. It was just putting so much strain on it. Just a very poorly optimized PC port, and I really don't understand why you would let this happen. I would wager to say, from Naughty Dog's sort of demeanor since this has happened, they seem to be very irritated. So they're either upset because maybe they chose Iron Galaxy and maybe Iron Galaxy misled them or didn't handle it well. This wouldn't be the first time that a company sort of misrepresented how good of a job they were doing or how great the project was going. We also don't know if maybe this was Sony's call, like if Sony or PlayStation made the call here and said, listen, we need this thing on market as soon as possible. And since everybody was busy, I believe Nixxes is busy. That's one of the better porting companies that Sony owns. And I believe that Naughty Dog was also busy. But because of that, maybe they just chose to go with who was available, and the result has been pretty poor. So first, let's just take a look at the patch notes. This is very brief. I'm recording this on March the 30th. This went out, and you can see here, all it did was fixed several performance and hitch-related issues impacting some users. Note, additional improvements and investigations based on user feedback are underway, and they added extra crash diagnostic information to assist in investigating shader building related crashes and other common reported stability issues. So there is something going on with shaders, but again, waiting for shaders to compile is not a surefire way to get over all of the problems. I believe even in this update, this is the update that they posted. The headline for this, from many of the articles that are covering this, said, listen, Naughty Dog is basically saying, we are taking over. We will be in charge of bringing our games to PC. So I wanted to look at this with you guys because I do think this is a pretty significant moment. We know that PlayStation, has this desire to bring more of their property to PC, but this is one of the worst ways to do it. God of War 2018 is a fantastic PC port. Days Gone is amazing. It's rock solid. The Returnal port had a few issues early on, but most of that got patched. Digital Foundry had good things to say about that port as well with respect to its performance and its stability. I do know that the Sackboy port wasn't, I don't think, criticized. I just don't think it performed very well commercially. I know Returnal suffered as well because day one, everybody saw Epic Online Services and they panicked and they said, oh my gosh, it did a ghost install of the Epic Game Store, which is really unfortunate. That wasn't true. It was only using the Epic Online Services for the co-op, and I think everybody missed out on one of the best rogues in the market, which rogues are very popular on Steam, but the Steam community is rather ravenous. They are rather tribalistic in their allegiance to Steam, and the minute they thought something was sort of ghost installed, it was very quickly downvoted, and I think people just sort of turned their back and maybe never went back. And the score right now for The Last of Us is so incredibly low. I think last I checked, it was at a 37% on Steam. Going to be really hard to recover from, even with the patches. So you can see here, they're sort of wanting to celebrate. You know, right here, we're thrilled to share The Last of Us with you guys on PC. This has got to be so upsetting for them. As we begin development in-house, we wanted PC players to experience an amazing story that truly lasts the test of time, while maintaining the equally high-quality bar across both PC and PlayStation consoles. The Last of Us Part 1 marks the first time an entry in the Last of Us series has been available on PC with PC-specific quality-of-life improvements and features such as VSync and frame rate cap options, adjustable texture quality, shadows, reflections, all of the rest. As our second modern PC release after Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, it's important to us as a studio to consider what it means to reach new and old audiences alike. Just a word about that. I know Uncharted actually had some issues with mouse and keyboard as well, like causing some stuttering. I played that on my PC with a controller, and I had no issues. Following Uncharted's PC release, we focused our efforts on focus our efforts and learnings onto the PC version of The Last of Us Part 1. Behind the scenes, we worked towards ensuring that The Last of Us Part 1 would be an authentic, satisfying experience for those playing on PC. The challenges we overcame and the successes we achieved in our previous modern PC release empowered us to dig into Part 1's PC development. New projects bring new challenges and opportunities alike. This is reading like they're the ones that did it, so I don't know if they're going to have any comments in here about Iron Galaxy. I was told that Iron Galaxy was the one that did the port. We were determined to do this right by preserving an experience so many love while delivering it to a new platform. From a technical perspective, Naughty Dog's engine used for Part 1 was optimized for PS5. Moving it to PC meant a large amount of tuning, tweaking, and even rethinking, especially when it came to how we utilize the GPU. We made careful decisions on how to adapt the overall experience for the PC. So if Iron Galaxy did this reads like that Naughty Dog was very hands-on, so I'm curious where exactly this blog post is going, because if they knowingly push this out, I don't really understand that. It's your own property. Like, why would you treat it in such a way? There was no way they were in the dark about the status of this game when it launched. Just delay it. It's a PC port. It's not like some big debut release. You don't need to honor the release date as rigidly as like a big AAA launch, like, hey, we're finally launching the third or second game or something. PC gaming gives a lot of personal freedom to players to customize their experience. As developers, we must ensure the experience is authentic across platforms while addressing the reality of different hardware, even if we must reconsider fundamental aspects of the game. For example, The Last of Us Part 1 on PlayStation 5 employs stick walking, where players traverse a space using the DualSense controller's thumbstick. As we all know, walking too fast in The Last of Us might alert the infective, which, if you are trying to remain stealthy, you will want to avoid. But while using the thumbstick, players' emotions might sometimes get the best of them, resulting in throttling the speed while they walk. At the speed at which they walk. This feature is both tactile and emotional, adding to the suspense of any encounter. For the PC version, we had to consider many players' preference of using a keyboard and mouse as a viable control method. However, they don't necessarily behave the same way as a controller, so the design team explored and adapted this traversal method while still ensuring a world-class player experience with mouse and keyboard. We want PC players to experience the same level of tactile and suspenseful gameplay console players already enjoy. This is actually a really great insight into something just as simple as like a controller and a joystick being the method of movements, giving them the ability to do something that you don't really get on PC. I know PC Master Race guys are going to run to the comments and claim that, you know, mouse and keyboard is a superior input method. That's subjective. There is no superior input method. The superior input method is the one that works. You might want to be careful as well. There's lots of great, accessibility options now for people to enjoy video games who might be motor function impaired, or even, people who play video games with their mouth, so that you really can't argue what the superior method of input is. You just look kind of foolish. These are only a few examples of the considerations and adjustments made for us to deliver The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. We knew every modification, whether a slight tweak or complete adaptation to the PC platform, made a big impact on player experience. Developing for both platforms will also allow us to incorporate lessons learned from each platform into the overall way our games are designed and played. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see this more and more. Even one of the developers spoke out about when they ported God of War 2018 to PC, they learned things that they made adjustments then into the pipelines of the development of God of War Ragnarok. So developing for PC or developing your game to be more portable to PC is certainly something Sony developers, PlayStation developers are going to have to consider going forward, because I actually think the window of time from launch on PlayStation to PC is going to get shorter and shorter. According to an interview, I believe it was with Herman Holst, the quickest you'll see that is 12 months. I would imagine in 5 years or so, that might even get shorter than that, because of the harmony with the PC audience could be something that really benefits those launch dates. A 10-year journey. PC may be a relatively newer platform for modern-day Naughty Dog, but the milestone is part of an almost decade-long journey for this beloved story. We originally released The Last of Us in 2013, introducing new stories, characters, and worlds to players globally. Every developer contributed their talents and creativity, sometimes in moments of unexpected inspiration. I remember when we recorded, our animation director and a concept artist acting as a survivor and a clicker to demonstrate how they'd move and interact in-game. In this video, a survivor scavenges for food while a clicker stalks him as prey. This demo was so suspenseful to watch. What was even more surreal is seeing this footage adapted by our talented teams into the in-game clicker's erratic, scary movement style that still scares all of us today. Whether we are handwriting and at times hand-drawing discoverable letters Joel and Ellie would find along their adventure, or working together to craft fun, intense gameplay, we felt incredibly proud to contribute towards an experience that was a summation of a collection of creativity, passion, and passion for games. So this is a lot of fluff. I'm kind of interested if they're going to say anything of substance about what happened to the dadgum game on PC. As development of the original Last of Us neared its end, we played the completed game for the first time at our desks. We emailed back and forth, proud and emotional over this profoundly evocative experience we poured so much effort into creating. You have to remember, at the time, The Last of Us was a pretty monumental game. I remember borrowing my brother's PlayStation just so I could play it, and at the time I thought it was one of the best video games I had ever played. I'd never played something that evoked so much emotion from me, and not again, I don't think that I have an experience that deep until I played Hellblade, which to this day is probably one of my all-time favorite games. Nearly 10 years later, we are humbled how it resonates with so many of you, and it's surreal to see fans of every era celebrate the games and watch the HBO adaptation. Countless talented developers contributed to the world of The Last of Us over the years, and their contributions have brought us to this day. We are proud of the work we've done, both now and then. I don't know if this is the right tone right now, but let's see where they go. Remaking The Last of Us Part 1 was an immense creative and technical undertaking. While the story remains timeless, we knew we could significantly modernize the original experience and showcase even more vibrant worlds to explore. We remade Part 1 for the PlayStation 5, using all of our learnings over the past decade. We're proud of how this vision breathes fresh life into the original story, so returning players and new fans alike may experience Joel and Ellie's journey with modern visuals and gameplay. Yeah, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on the PS5 remake. People are irritated about the PC. The PS5 remake, I think everybody has this feeling right here about the current status of the PC port. Now that we accomplished releasing the remake on PS5, we are thrilled to bring this game not just to PC, but for PC, okay? What's your plan? Because people are pretty upset. The road ahead. So, where will the next Naughty Dog development adventure take us? Rest assured, PlayStation and PC players, we are already looking forward to sharing more. Whether you prefer a DualSense controller or a keyboard and mouse, developing for both platforms empowers us to incorporate lessons learned from either into the overall design of our games. Sharing our stories and experiences on PS5 as well as PC is something that Naughty Dog has embraced and will continue to support moving forward. That said, today we celebrate. We have many people to thank for the launch of The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. Thank you to Sony Interactive Entertainment and, of course, our studio members who contributed their efforts towards launching The Last of Us Part 1. To the Last of Us community, thank you for all these years of support and passion. We are continually humbled and motivated by your energy and excitement. To new players, welcome to the world of The Last of Us. We hope you have an incredibly gratifying experience as you navigate the world with Ellie and Joel. I don't understand. This is not at all what I was expecting. The article that drove me here said that they were basically saying we're taking over developing for PC, which they basically are. They're basically saying going forward, they will be sharing their stories and experiences both on the PS5 and the PC, which means no parallel development. You're not going to be like making a game for the PS5 and having a porting company sort of porting everything over or doing it later. Again, if Iron Galaxy is the company that ported this, I'm not really sure why Naughty Dog is out here taking ownership for the work to bring this to PC. Maybe they just think that's the classy approach here since they're now taking over the patching and the updating and the fixing, or maybe they were more hands-on. Maybe they worked in tandem with Iron Galaxy. I find this blog post to be dissatisfactory. I don't think this firmly addresses the problems. I don't see enough ownership of why the game turned out the way that it did. Why was this timeline pushed? Was it generally pushed because of the TV show? And if so, that's a real big letdown for fans of the franchise who are seeing one of their favorite games sort of mistreated, and then for PC fans who are waiting for it. I have to say, this is disappointing coming from Naughty Dog. I expect better from them in their games, and I expect better for them in a post like this. So, as always, if you like this kind of content, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell button so that way I can see you in the next video.